I'm here because of the pyramids of Chi. I've started my journey here. And so I'm very grateful and I'm very happy to have Peter today here in our Bali Forum, World Bali Forum, talk about the pyramids of Chi, talk about sound healing, and probably, I mean, he's a storytelling machine, right? He has heard so many stories of healing stories in the pyramids, life-changing stories. Mine is just one of it. So I'm happy to welcome Peter Mcintosh, founder of the Pyramids of Chi in Ubud. And actually, I don't know what Peter's going to talk about because he's always going to talk about something interesting all day long. So Peter, you're an amazing guy. You're a good friend. You have an awesome wife, and I'm really I'm going to invite her next time to talk here. And you have the awesome Pyramids of Chi here in Ubud, who has enhanced many tourists, many lives. Thank you for joining us. What are you going to talk about today, Peter?
Oh, Christian, that's a good question. Even I was sort of trying to figure out what's the right sort of message to put across. I don't want to put it across as an advertising medium or something just pushing what we're doing here. So as you said in the beginning, I'm a bit of a storyteller. So I'm just going to try and share a little bit of how it all came to be. That's kind of helped a lot of people that have visited us, and we've had over 70,000 people visit us. A lot of them love our story and the fact that how it all happened, how it came to be and everything else. And so I'll give a bit of background and things like that. What's kind of interesting is that we're going through a time in our lives at the moment, Christian, that most of the world has never experienced anything like this. Maybe World War II at the end of it was something like it, but now everybody's sort of being affected by the pandemic one way or the other. And of course, Bali is suffering terribly. Lack of visitors, lack of work for our beautiful Balinese people. I mean, we've got about 40 staff, and at the moment we're trying to give them a shift a day, and it's so hard for them, when some of them are the only earners in their kampong. So we're having to look at where we are at today, what's happening in our lives, right? And so what I'm trying to get across to your viewers today is maybe it's time to look for what else is out there, what other opportunities are available in your lives. More than anything, look into your heart. You know me, I'm a great heart-to-heart hugger. And, I really do feel that there is a big need at the moment for people to look within. Don't worry about, talking to your next door neighbors or complaining about the pandemic or anything else like that. We've got 2022 just around the corner. And now it's the time for us to really buckle down and look and see what can we do to step out of what was a comfort zone and step into what is possible. What is there that we can move into now? And so it's time to consider what we call the pendulum. The pendulum swings one way and the other, right? No different from yin and yang, from the balance, from the scales of justice. Call it whatever you like. There's always the swing. And we've got to look at swinging out of that depressive state that many people around the world are now sitting in. And we've got to look at how can we turn these opportunities for us. Oh, sorry, that's my dogs. They're our security system. So yeah, we've got to look at how can we turn the negatives into positives. What can we do there? And it's about looking outside the square, Christian. It really is. My background has always been one of being different in so many ways when it came to business. I've been in business for myself for 45 years. And during that time, I've always looked at doing something a little bit different, unique, or maybe crazy in some cases. And a lot of people say, oh, you know, you're crazy. What are you doing now? You know, and I think it really hails back to when I was doing my university degree in Perth. And I was sitting in front of the lecturer one day, along with 20 other hotshots, all waiting to hear these gems of knowledge. And the lecturer walks in with this enormous black forest cake, puts it down on his table in front of us all. We're all slobbering, of course, looking at this beautiful big cake. He said, who would like the cake? And because everybody put their hands up, you know. And so he said, well, why don't you can have the cake? But first off, you've got to give me the word, right? Give me one word that means how to be a success in sales and marketing or in your own business. You've got to give me that one word. Well, of course, 15 minutes went by with us throwing every word we could dream up. You know, none of us got it right. And then we saw him, to our dismay, cutting up the cake. And of course, amongst 20 people, there's only small slices that came out at the end of the day, right? So he called us all down to around his desk and gave us a slice of that beautiful cake. But, you know, it wasn't enough. And he said, okay, you could have all had the cake, not just a slice of the cake, right? The word is be different. Okay, if you're different, you move out of what everybody else is doing, what all the expectations, what every other shop down the street is doing or whatever, and you're totally different, there's a good chance you can have the whole cake and not just a slice. Well, that taught me a lesson. And I left the airlines in the 1970s. Sorry, yep, left the airlines in the 1970s, moved across to New Zealand, started up a jet boat business, but on a stretch of water that everybody said, no, you will never get up there with a load of people on board. Well, it worked and made an obscene amount of money and had a lot of fun doing it. But then I've done many other businesses, and you've heard some of them from me. Satellite communications network, when deregulation came in and everybody said, well, how can you do that? You're not a corporation, right? I had a franchise business for branding. Everybody said, oh, no, only big businesses do that. It just went on and on and on for some of the things that, you know, I should never have done. And then, of course, the crunch came when we had retired back in 2007, 8, around then. We moved across to America to live our dream. And that was to get a nice big travel rig, travel around the country and have some fun, make lots of new friends and everything else. Then in 2013, we had to come back to Perth for LYNN to have an operation on her eyes. That's my wife. Didn't work. And we came up to Bali just to sit it out for a couple of months. Couldn't go back to America because it looked like she might have to have a corneal transplant. Anyway, we're up here, and one day I did a meditation, and we've been on a spiritual path since 2004, which is a whole lot different from what I was for the other, 30 odd years of worrying about how much money I could make and what toys I could gather. So anyway, I did this meditation one morning, and during that meditation, I saw a vision of 2 pyramids. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then I got the words, build 2 pyramids in Ubud. And I'm thinking, no, come on. You got the wrong man, God. Come on, spirit. There must be the guy down the road. So I went in to see LYNN and I said, darling, and any women on this will understand what that means when a man says that to you. It's like, what? And I said, well, I've just had a beautiful meditation. And I've been told during that we need to build 2 pyramids here in Bali. What? Build a couple of pyramids here in Bali. And she said, did you say pyramids, Peter? I said, yeah, that's the message. Well, we thought long and hard about it and figured, well, do we rely on our imagination driving us here? Do we follow our hearts? We said, no, we'll follow our hearts. We hadn't been let down in many years, so we thought, let's do it. The long and the short of it all was, it all came to be. We found the money, we found the land, we found the opportunity was possible, did our estimates, and look, it could all work. It could all work. So we went back to America, sold off our beautiful big rig there and moved to Bali in 2013. 3.5 years later, we've got these beautiful pyramids. We've got beautiful grounds, big cafe, and people started to show up. Now, that gave us a lot of challenges. Nobody builds pyramids. You can't jump on Google and say, send me a pyramid builder. They just don't do them because, you can't put scaffolding around them or anything like that. And so we had to really think hard and long about it. But, Spirit brought us the people that could build us the pyramids, brought us staff, brought us gong masters, all sorts of things. And we just handed it up. We allowed it to happen. We didn't go pushing hard for it. Wasn't focused on money. We're focused on getting a sound healing center because that was the message that I was given. Build a sound healing center. You've got a sound healing center, you'll attract people. You'll bring them to you. Just like that beautiful movie, build it and they will come. And so we went down that track of opening up, and that was back in 2017. And oh my God, what a journey that was. The first year we had the earthquake on Lombok because everybody stopped coming to Bali. The second year we had the volcano in Mount Ubud. That also, scared a lot of people off coming. But you know what, Christian? Every month of our operation, with the exception of 1 month, we went up by at least 10%.
Wow.
At least 10%. Some months we're up 17, 18, 20%.
Wow.
Now, that told us that we were on the right path, but we weren't doing anything of a conventional nature. I
can tell you that. Let me just weave in something of my story, and then you continue, because it's super interesting to hear that story. Like when I was spending time at the pyramids, and on my second trip, I stayed with you over there for a week. So I went into the pyramids once or twice a day, and it is amazing really to relax and to meditate. And it's a different, and I'm a long-term meditator. I'm doing this since over 3.5 decades. It's a different space to meditate in and to connect with yourself. And so connecting that back from where you started, what do we changing times, and what can Bali and what can the pyramids contribute to your individual journey for this 2022? Because if we are not changing individually, what's going to happen, Peter? What's going to happen to you over there?
Well, that's a scary bit, Christian. That really is a scary bit, because we've had to look very, very hard at that. Yeah. I'm fortunate, I'm blessed with a beautiful wife to help me out. We've got a great management team, especially with Greg and Jill, and our new cafe arrangement and everything else. But we had to keep looking at how can we maneuver to keep the doors open, right? The sad thing about it is that we've just about exhausted our own bank accounts just keeping the doors open because of so few visitors coming to Bali. But money comes, it happens, we have faith. And of course, for many of our staff who are the only earners in a kampong, they need that money. So we've been determined to keep it open. And what we've done is we've come up with a number of different things besides just the regular sound healing sessions that we have. We've got our Beyond Sound, where people go in and they lay down on these beautiful water beds. We pump up sounds through the water beds, special light overhead, all sorts of things. People have the most amazing experiences there. And then we've introduced other things like breathworks. And, we heard some of the others talking about breathwork. Breathworks is the most amazing opportunity to really connect within. And for those of you that haven't done it, come on out and see us, or join one of the other practitioners here in town. Breathworks can really change your whole mindset and the way you view things. And then we're doing a lot of other things. We've even got a sweat lodge, or an area where you can go inside, and we carry out a beautiful Native American traditional clearing. We have expanded on a lot of things. We have the Blue Lotus ceremonies. Look, I won't go into them all, it'll sound like an advertorial, but yeah, we've diversified into doing many other things. We've brought other people in, people that are very skilled, like Eve at Blue Lotus. We brought her, and she does a beautiful ceremony. And for ladies love it. They go along, guys too, but the ladies particularly, many of them, Christian, are going through a lot of hard times right now. They're trying to look after their families. They're trying to figure out where the next dollar's coming from.
Yeah.
They're in a position where, you know, they're constantly bombarded by all this negativity of, you know, what's going to happen with vaccinations, what's going to happen with being able to travel, all sorts of issues. And so when they do come to us and they go into one of these ceremonies, whether it's just a regular sound healing ceremony or whether it's the Blue Lotus ceremony, you know, they invariably come out and you can see it in their eyes. First and foremost, you can see it in their eyes. They're clear. They're looking settled. Many of them have amazing emotional releases, incredible emotional releases. You know, they let go of a lot of the stuff they're holding on to. And so, my thoughts on all of this is we need to look beyond the normal. Forget about your television. Forget about Netflix, for God's sake. You know, there's nothing in there that's going to motivate you. You know, forget about going, sitting around with a group of people that are having a drinking session and complaining about, you know, the lack of numbers to Bali right now. Or for those of you that are coming to us from overseas, and I know I've got some people watching right now, go out and do a protest march. Talk about freedom, you know, because the people you're going to be walking with, the chances are they're switched on. They're not staying at home asleep in front of Netflix. Surround yourself with positive thinking people, because if you've got those people close to you, they may not even be family, but if you've got those people close to you and you can bounce off them with your own ideas of business. Yesterday, I was talking to Meg Pappenheim from Yoga Barn. We're a group of us at one of the local cafes, and one of my friends asked her, how's it going? You know, with everything. And she said, you know what? We have something for everybody. And we've done the same. And that's what we all need to be looking at. We need to be looking beyond what was our original business and see how can we improve on it? How can we introduce more variations to it, more motivation to it, and particularly healing and health. Because as I said at the beginning here, we've never been in such a position globally as we are in right now when healing is going to be needed.
Yeah, and we are so privileged, like living here at the moment in Ubud. That's what I feel personally, and it always depends on you, like how you cope that. But I'd like to point that back to the pyramids, because I mean, like that space you've built there has touched me so many times already, and I was just there like. Was it yesterday or yesterday, right? Yesterday I was there. Yeah, I was doing some co-working there, and you know, like I spoke to one of your healers over there, and he's going to teach me how to play the didgeridoo. So whenever, yeah, I want to learn it. But whenever I go there, and that is what I would like to guide you also in. What can the pyramids of Chi right now contribute to somebody who's in Bali now? And most of us, like here on the call, and who're going to like listen to this video maybe afterwards also, what can you contribute from coming from the pyramid of Chi with your offers and your like healing qualities to somebody who is right now like looking for some orientation or like just being in that like difficult time? So what's your experience? What are people taking away there?
Good question, Christian. Thanks for asking that one. Look, we're doing things like Jordan teaching people how to play the didgeridoo. LYNN, teaching people how to use their voice. Many people don't know that they have a beautiful singing voice. You know, they might do it in the shower perhaps, but they don't even realize that. LYNN will bring that out in people, teaching people how to play the singing bowls, the gongs, all of those sorts of things. If somebody wants to learn something else, a bit different, and especially something that can help them with their own healing within, or even helping people close to them with healing. We have a very good friend down in Australia that works with ladies doing natural birthing. She goes along with a gong and a singing bowl, right? Amazing. And this is the crystal bowl she takes, and amazing. These ladies go through labor with far less pain, stress, grief, whatever, in a beautiful environment with these beautiful sounds around them. And for those that don't know how sound healing works, we have the 7 key chakra centers right through our body, from the base chakra through to the crown at the top. And when we play these instruments, these sounds, and particularly in the pyramid, they bounce off the walls of the pyramid and down onto your body. And you're laying on a beautiful, big, comfortable mattress, and these vibrations, when they come onto your body, they work up from the base chakra all the way right up through your heart chakra, your third eye, your crown chakra, and they go through what we call a rebalancing of your chakras. Now, the Chinese explain the chakras as energy centers that look a little bit like spinning plates or CDs or whirling tops or whatever. And they say that when you're a bit sakit, when you're a bit ill, whatever, those tops, those discs start wobbling. So the vibrations, the frequencies that work across those chakra centers actually settles them down, rebalances them. And that's why, you know, we never have a day go by where we don't see somebody coming out of one of the pyramids, maybe emotional, maybe really mentally cleared, in many cases quite physical reactions, right? Because this works. I can't explain the actual physics behind it. I know there is an answer to it, but it's not something I've ever really got right into. But what we do know is sound healing, it works. I mean, you'll get it in hospitals these days, where, you know, they do ultrasound and they blast away stones in kidneys and things. So those vibrations, those frequencies are quite special. And when they're done inside a pyramid, of course, you got that extra energy that comes from a pyramidal structure. All pyramids, Christian, around the world, and there's thousands upon thousands of them. Unfortunately, a lot of people are only aware of maybe Mexico and Egypt. It doesn't matter whether it's in China or Bosnia or Peru or Mexico or Australia even, Japan, they're all over the world. They're all built the same way. They're all built with the 52-degree angle at the base, and they're all aligned on one side to exactly true north. And that's the same no matter what country. So the people that really studied pyramids are pretty well all in agreement that they're probably built at least 10,000 years ago, maybe longer. And I mean, the method of construction back in those days is so phenomenal. Pyramids don't fall down. They don't, because they're all interlocking blocks of stone in the most incredible ways. And so they don't. So whatever race or dimension or whoever it was created them for a purpose. Now, what we've found in our pyramids is one of those purposes is very evident. And not only is it energy, but it's the power of the energy. People will come out of there and they say, oh my God, that was unbelievable. I could feel it. I could feel it straight away. On Saturday, I was talking to a guy that comes up to our place at least every 2 weeks, sometimes more. His name's Ivan, up from Uluwatu, surfer dude, right? Russian fella. He comes up here and he says, I go in there, Peter, and when I'm in there, I do something I can't do anywhere else. I can't do it at home, can't do it on the beach, can't do it laying on my surfboard, anywhere. He says, I go astroplaning. And in other words, they get up there and and they see themselves as maybe underwater, like a fish swimming along, or flying overhead like a bird or whatever. Now, when that happens, it's quite special. Now, it doesn't happen to everybody. In fact, it happens to very few people. But those are some of the things that we've seen happen and we hear on a regular basis from people that do go to the pyramids. So if any of our listeners are looking for something to experience that is a bit different, a bit unique, go in the pyramids. Go in there with an open mind, an open heart, and you'll be blown away.
I can only second that. I mean, I have a solid meditation practice, and it's not experiencing something different. I would say it's like just going one step further. Something like it's kind of like a boost, or like a different dimension, like a different like a turbo booster in a car for my meditation. So I fully get it. Yeah.
And you know what,
so many,
Christian? You know what, Christian? Some guys just go in there and snore their heads off.
Yeah.
They come out, they say,
true.
I went to sleep and snored. But our response to that was, well, if you're meant to receive any healing, it will have happened. And only last year I had a couple come to see me, and the woman just couldn't stop hugging me and saying thank you. And I said, what are we being thanked here for? And she said, well, the year before that, they come and her husband was going through cancer treatment, but it wasn't working. And someone suggested, oh, you should go to the Pyramids of Chi. And I said, okay, we don't really treat cancer patients here. And she said, you know what? From the time he came out of that pyramid, he went off his medication. And you know what? Look at him. He's sitting over there now, talking to some people, and he's as healthy as can be. Went over and chatted to him. Once again, he was shaking my hands and hugging me. Now, that's a pretty unique case, but we've had so many. We're writing our book at the moment. We've got so many stories of healings that happen. Cool. Do I understand them all? Of course not. I come from a business background of making money, and now, I'm more interested in seeing people experiencing healing, letting go of those stresses and those emotions they don't want to be carrying around. That to me is more important, and that's what our legacy is.
What, Peter? Like we could go on for hours. I think. I mean, sometimes we do that, but like for the last 2 minutes here on our today's talk, like what's your step into the 2022 to just share what you do to motivate us? Like what is your vision for Bali for yourself, and what steps are you going to take next year?
Yeah, thanks. Good question again, Christian. I don't see us getting the big numbers back in a hurry, unfortunately, because there's too much influence by the media and certain parties for people to start traveling again in a hurry. I think we've got to work on our domestic market. We put a lot of effort through our social media to the people coming down from Surabaya and Jakarta and such like that. And that's paying dividends for us, thankfully. I think we need to look at diversifying in whatever ways we can from what we used to do. And I see people, see so many closed shops around Ubud and down, in the beach areas. We've just got to look past all that and say, okay, what can we do in our own business, in our own lives, to be enthusiastic, to be positive, and to offer something a little bit different. Going back to that story with the cake, we've got to be different. Okay.
Thank you, Peter.